Tokyo, 1964.
There it goes.
The stretch produced an amazing finish by Billy Mills.
And here we go in the final lap for the gold medal in the 10,000 meter. And up front is Bill Mills. He's pressing Ron Clark, the world champion. Bill Mills in the United States, number 722, is leading Ron Clark. And in third place right now is Mahout Gammoudi of Tunis. A tremendous upset if Bill Mills can hang on. But Gammoudi goes out ahead as Gammoudi right now leading in the 10,000 meter. Ron Clark is third. Rather, Bill Mills is in third. Ron Clark is in second right now. This is the final lap for the 10,000 meter. The unheralded Mahout Gammoudi of Tunis is putting on a tremendous sprint. He's out ahead of Ron Clark. Bill Mills, the United States, is in third place. This will certainly be the fastest 10,000 meter ever run by an American.
Here's Mills, who seems to be boxed in. Suddenly there's an opening, and here he comes.
Here they come down the final lap. Can Ron Clark catch Gammoudi? They're going through the field. He's coming up. He's passing Gammoudi. Look at Mills. Look at Mills. Look at Mills. Coming on. Mills is coming on. It might be Bill Mills. What a tremendous surprise here. Bill Mills, the United States, wins the 10,000 meters. Bill Mills, the United States, a tremendous upset, wins the 10,000 meter here. His unheralded winner from Kansas.
Let's go back and look with our other camera to see exactly how he broke through the pack.
Here they come down the final lap. Can Ron Clark catch Gammoudi? They're going through the field. He's coming up. He's passing Gammoudi. Look at that. Look at Mills. Look at Mills. Coming on. Mills is coming on. It might be Bill Mills. What a tremendous surprise here. Bill Mills, the United States, wins the 10,000 meters.
Billy Mills, the only American ever to win a gold medal in the Olympic 10,000 meter run.
I'll give you actually my two names. My Lakota name, Ta Makosha Tequila, which means loves your country. And my English name is Billy Mills, and I'm half Lakota and I'm half European ancestry, and born in South Dakota, live in California with my wife Patricia now.
Absolutely. And can you tell the kids, because the kids are learning about a bunch of different stuff, but one of the things I want them to take away from this is about persevering through adversity. And can you talk about some of the adversity that you had to persevere through in your young adult life before you got to the moment that we just saw?
One of the things I'd love that the young students to take away, particularly today when you hear so many of our leaders worldwide misusing what I'm going to share with you, I'd love for everybody to understand the difference between honesty and truth. You hear so many of our leaders speaking honestly, with passion, but honesty is expressing your feelings and your opinions accurately, even though your feelings and your opinions may not accurately represent the truth. So understand that. You're going to see leaders throughout the world, leaders here in the United States, speaking honestly. I was taught as a young boy, one of our virtues and values of the Lakota culture is truth and honesty, and the difference. So truth is an accurate representation of what you honestly expressed. Know the difference. In your critical thinking, the development of your critical thinking, hold people accountable if they speak honestly, but not truthfully. You're the generation. I also want you to know you're the age group, the generation that will have the opportunity to unite and bring people together, expressing the global unity through the dignity, through the character, through the beauty of global diversity. Not only the theme of the Constitution of the United States of America, but more importantly, the theme of sport that I took globally and where I spend most of my life now, my wife and I, promoting unity through diversity.
Would we be able to jump right into some student questions? Because I've already been messaged a whole lot of questions for you.
Some questions. Sure.
Yes.
Absolutely. So this is coming from Jesus, and Jesus is in Spain, and he had a very good question. Jesus, you can ask Mr. Mills. Speak nice and loud.
Hello, nice to meet you. I would like to ask you, how do you feel when you win the gold medal in the Olympic Games?
How did you feel when you won?
When I went, oh my gosh, it's still emotional for me. To answer that question, I have to go back a year and a half earlier, 2 years earlier actually, when the racism in society broke me. My dad used to tell me, it takes a dream to heal a broken soul, son. Find a dream in your life. My dad died when I was 12. I made All-American. They asked me to step out of the photo in cross country. I go back to my hotel room, open the window, and I'm going to jump. I didn't want to kill myself, but I just wanted to go where it was quiet. I didn't hear through my ears, energy underneath my skin, movement, that spoken, unspoken word, don't. That energy sounded like my dad's voice. I got off the chair and I wrote down a dream to heal a broken soul. I wrote down gold medal, 10,000 meter run, Tokyo, Japan. Believe, believe, believe. Coming off the final curve, I'm pushed. I stumbled. I closed back on Clark's shoulder. Gamudi broke between us. I'm type 2 diabetic, hypoglycemic. I'm going low blood sugar. I didn't know if I could continue or stay with them. I decided to let them get maybe 10 yards ahead of me. I'd make one final try with 100 meters to go. My wife was sitting 14 seats up with 100 meters to go. I didn't want to even glance in the stands because I'd come off the curve. For if I saw her, her expressions might affect me positively or negatively. I come off the curve, it's just one more try, I lifted my knees, pumping my arms. A runner from Germany, I thought, crossed in front of me as we're lapping the runner. I glanced in the center of his jersey was an eagle. I'm back to my dad, this little boy. He'd say, son, if you do these things, someday you can have wings of an eagle. It was wings of an eagle. I can win, I can win. And then I'm going to win, but I may not get to the finish line first. Did I contradict myself? But I'm still going to try to get to the finish line first. Wings of an eagle, the tape breaks across my chest. An official came up to me and said, who are you? Who are you? And I said, oh my God, did I miscount the laps? Can we do anything? Can we do anything for you? I want my wife. Within moments, they're tapping on her shoulder. They said the new Olympic champion wants his wife. We meet, we hug, and I said, Pat, I knew what it meant. I'm going to win, but I may not get to the finish line first. I healed a broken soul. And in the process, I won an Olympic gold medal. And to this day, still the only person from the Western Hemisphere to ever win that race. So I hope there's a teaching lesson in there, but
There absolutely is. Yes, there is. And the racers that you were racing against, Muhammad Gowdy and some of those other racers, were some of the history's greatest runners, and you beat them. And you know, it's you. We refer to it as the golden age of running. I think like that moment that started the golden age of running in the world, and it's just so exciting. I'm a running nerd. It's very exciting for me. So we'll get on to the next question. This is from Naya, and she is in Europe. Naya, you had an awesome question from Mr. Mills. Make sure you speak up nice and loud.
Hello, Billy. Thanks for this opportunity. My question is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
What advice would you give to your younger self?
oh wow. To my younger self, the advice I would give would be to stay the course, to make the decision and stay the course. By that I mean, I left the sport as I was reaching the top of the sport. I left with maybe the best 8 years ahead of me. And I only had one world record. Once I was ranked #1 in the world. But if I stayed the course, I think I may have had 12 or 15 world records. My wife says, you're going to be 84 years old, you're a great grandfather, just let it go. But it was hard it's hard to realize I quit too soon. Second advice, I would tell myself to keep as my number one goal, in a sense, curiosity, to keep it alive, because curiosity led me in so many directions, and finding so many positive passions in life that I would just remind the words my dad told me. It takes a dream to heal a broken soul. Find your passion. Develop the skills to equal the passion. Bring them together. Magic is created, son. And one or two of the magical things you do over your lifetime just may be looked upon as a miracle. Create the miracle, son, for the betterment of humanity. I think I would have spent a little more time as an athlete, because I could have done more that just might have been beneficial to segments of society globally.
Well, sir, your influence is definitely felt all over the world, even to this day. And if we could have you talk a little bit about IndianYouth.org and your volunteer work with that organization, we'd love to hear about it.
About running strong.
IndianYouth.org. When I left for the Olympic Games, the elders told me to humble myself by honoring my family, honoring my tribal nation, honoring the United States of America, and try to humble myself and try to honor society, humanity in positive ways. So as I fly into Tokyo, I looked out and saw Mount Fuji, and it was overpowering. The Black Hills of South Dakota is the heart of everything that is to the Lakota people. My thoughts were, wow, Mount Fuji, that must be the heart of everything that is to the Japanese people. The theme of the Games in 1964, unwritten theme, was for the youth to see the world as one. I put those thoughts together and decided to do what my elders wanted me to do if I won a gold medal, to have my giveaway, to give back to those who helped empower me. But people empowered me worldwide, so I had to give back globally. And we decided to create an organization called Running Strong for American Indian Youth. Co-founded it with a gentleman, Gene Kresek, who just this past year started his spiritual journey. Just an incredible man of vision. We wanted to help anybody who had a dream in the Native American world, to empower the dream. We wanted to inspire the visions of the youth. We wanted to help solidify and mature the elders' vision. The youth have the dreams, the elders have the vision. So we wanted to help empower both the youth and the elder. So we started an organization. Anybody that, for example, had a dream, any Indian youth that had a dream that can empower their community, we gave them $10,000 grant. They partnered with a nonprofit organization in their community and came up with how they could improve the community with their dream. We did 10 a year for 5-year cycles. Started on the 50th anniversary of me winning a gold medal. So that's 50 grants, $10,000 grants. At the end of the year, at the end of the 5th year, we pick 5 of the 10 and give them $50,000 grants to further enhance the strength of their vision, their dream. And it's been extremely powerful. In other communities, we are drilling water wells today, connecting the main water well, the main water line that goes across the reservation. We pay for the cost to connect with homes in the outlying areas of the reservation, where some people still get their water from the creek and boil the water. We also have organic gardening projects, built dialysis clinics, recreational facilities, ways in just trying to empower the young people so their dreams may come true.
So
Running for American Indian Youth.
even though the Olympics are over, your race is not over, and you're still first in your race. That's what I think that is. And so we have a few more questions, but what I wanted to do, because you guys sent over a very special video, and I wanted to share the Amazing Grace video with the kids, and then can we do a few more questions, then we'll kind of end it? All right, cool. Guys, this is a very special video, so you guys kind of get an idea of how amazing Mr. Mills' accomplishment was for this 10K. This is a very short video, but it's a very good video. Definitely check it out here. So 1 second, we'll watch it and then we'll come back. Absolutely beautiful. And tearing me up, man. So we'll jump back into some of those questions and we'll let you go. This comes from Pablo, and Pablo is over in Europe. And Pablo, you should be able to unmute. You had a very good question, friend.
Yeah, thanks. Firstly, it's incredible to talk with such a incredible deportist. My question is that if you felt pressure or if you thought that you wouldn't get it in your training for the Olympics, how you continue running?
Did you feel pressure and how did you continue running?
I felt pressure when I was getting ready to compete, and I knew I was going against people who were faster than me. So I handled that by the depth, the height of competition was for me to compete against myself, to reach within the depths of my capabilities, perform to the greatest extent I was capable of on that given day as I tried to beat the competitors I was competing against. And that allowed me to constantly push right on the edge, to push myself by competing against myself rather than other people. And I call that the height of competition. And was there a second part to that question?
How did you continue running? Continue running.
What about it?
Did you continue running?
Okay, then as far as continuing to run, that's one of my regrets. I'm type 2 diabetic, hypoglycemic, I go low blood sugar, and it's extremely hard to compete under those circumstances. So I wanted to get a world record and then reevaluate how I felt. So the next year was set just to set a world record. I set a world record, 7 American records that year, was ranked number 3 in the world that year, but it was just too difficult competing type 2 diabetic and hypoglycemic. So I walked away from the sport, and knowing how they deal with diabetes today, I take no medication, just some exercise, proper nutrition. Most doctors will say I'm not diabetic, but I am, and I know how to be if I don't eat properly. So I still have this thought in the back of my mind that I would have loved to compete, knowing how to handle type 2 diabetes today. And that's where I may have had, rather than one world record, maybe a half a dozen, but What has replaced that is something much more sacred. I'm a great-grandfather, got 12 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren, and feel so blessed that I could spend time with them and share their dreams.
Well, I follow you guys on social media. You guys are doing wonderful with your family and your culture and everything like that. And we'll go with 2 more student questions, then we'll let you go. So definitely check out the indianyouth.org website that's in the recording that's also shared here. But this next question comes from Yara. And Yara, you had a really good question. Go ahead and ask.
Hello, my question is, did you ever think of giving up? And if so, what made you continue?
Did you think of giving up? And if so, what made you continue?
Okay, yes, I did. When you go low blood sugar, what comes along with that, at least for me, is a quiet form of depression. And when I would face the struggles within society, the racism, I would get suicidal thoughts, just wanting to go as quiet. And by overcoming that, the way I overcame it, I started finding out why and studying why half of me, my European ancestry, is accepted. My Lakota ancestry is not accepted. So I went on a course to study the footprints of my ancestors. And I don't know if I could take 4 or 5 minutes to try to answer this, but let me know if I can't. Otherwise, I'll start. And this is what I'd love to maybe leave you with. I wanted to know why in society half's rejected, half's accepted. So what I'm going to say now is not an attack on Christianity. I'm a Christian man. It's not an attack on Jesus Christ, that I believe in Jesus Christ as my Savior. But it shows you how people misusing information, honesty instead of truth, can manipulate words of wisdom. So I went back and studied the doctrine of discovery in reference to the New World, the Americas, written by the Pope, courtesy of the Vatican, inspired by the kings and queens of Europe. 1493, it simply states, any new lands found in the New World can only belong to the first Christian monarch that discovers those lands. Similar type doctrines were written for Africa, written for other religions. And the inhabitants of those lands, the indigenous people, must come under international rule of law. Their laws, their religion, songs and dance will no longer apply, and they must submit to Christianity. But then it was realized if the indigenous people in the Americas, 50 to 90 million based on archaeological digs, if they submitted to Christianity, they could own land. That's the period of our history where we had no souls. We were not human. We cannot own land. That is still good law in our law books today, although we can own land today. But it's still good law in our law books. First year law school students learn that case where Indian people cannot own land. Now the land had to be developed. Slavery. No words can describe the inhumane treatment of innocent people. When the slaves were freed, 4 million new people in the US became citizens. Leadership went to the poor white, maybe half my relatives because I'm half white, and said, don't let the freed slave take your jobs. They learned great skills. Jim Crow's born in America. That was overturned with the Civil Rights Act, signed 1 month before I won my gold medal. What countered the Civil Rights Act was the war on drugs. The war on drugs was to make young Black men hippies and young men of color felons. Pat and I visited some reservations in the United States 3 months before the pandemic shut us down, where 40% of the young girls, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade, are having to find a different place to sleep every night because of meth, the war on drugs. So those footprints, the doctrine of discovery, broken treaties, treaties signed, treaties broken, slavery, Jim Crow, the war on drugs, are etched into many fibers of societies throughout the world, forever influencing or dictating the rule of law. They're etched into hard laws within America. They created two things: generational trauma. At our borders today in America, we find people trying to cross who are suffering from generational trauma. It also created generational privilege. Half white and half Indian, I've been offered both. I didn't ask for generational trauma, but I suffered from it. I've been offered generational privilege, and I declined. But those footprints are etched into every fiber of societies globally. We have to bring the patriots of generational trauma together with the patriots of generational privilege and get them to communicate, to choreograph the horizon of humanity on this planet from here on out. And you young people, you are the age group that'll play a vital role in choreographing the horizon of your country, of the United States of America, hopefully bringing us together as global unity through the dignity, character, beauty of global diversity, the future of humankind. I believe in each and every one of you. I believe in the youth of the world. And I feel blessed that I've had some time to spend with you. Your intellect and your resilience will definitely make the world a better place. I thank you for that.
Absolutely, and we thank you. And what's interesting about Mr. Mills is that you are in the United States National Track and Field Hall of Fame, and you're in the National Native American Hall of Fame. You are in the United States Olympic Hall of Fame, the National Distance Running Hall of Fame, and you are awarded the Presidential Citizens Medal by President Obama. I mean, you've done so much, and you talk about living on both sides of that aisle. It's just, is there anything that we can have you give any advice to the kids beyond what you already gave as these kids kind of go off into the world before we let you go? What kind of advice would you impart on them as someone who overcame so much adversity to not just thrive, but also become the best at what you did?
I think I can make a couple comments. One, my father told me, if you don't exactly know what to say, or if you don't know how to articulate it, just ask to remain silent and to think about it, and you'll respond later. That has helped me so often in dialogue and discussions that were very critical. Just taking the moment of silence, or give me some time, because I want to speak honestly and truthfully. And if I answer you today, I may just be speaking honestly, and it may not be truthful. So I just took basic dialogue of communicating. I would also like to say, I want to spend the rest of my life supporting those globally who hold up half the sky. And that's the women of the world. What an incredible world we'd have as men if we listened and heard the words of the women throughout the world. And we helped empower them simply because they hold up half the sky. What an incredible, beautiful world we would have.
That's absolutely wonderful advice. And we can't thank you enough, Billy, for spending time with us today. Thank you so much, Pat, for setting this up. Thank you. And before I let you go, before I end this meeting for all, please remember, I will send out a recording to everybody of today. It should take a couple days to process. I'm going to ask everyone to unmute, and can we all say thank you to Billy before I let everyone go? So thank you so much, Billy, for your time today, and thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Pero máquina, ¿viste?
Thank you.
Thank you.